What's up, guys? Greg with GYFITNESS. Welcome to our YouTube channel where we talk about everything that's related to fitness, health, and wellness. In today's video, I'm going to talk about blood draw nightmares. So stay tuned. Okay, guys. So as you know, I get my blood work done about 3 times a year, and every time I've gotten blood work done, I've had no problems. With the technician drawing blood, I've always had a good flow, and it's really quick and easy. I'm in and out in like 5 minutes and I'm done, and I fill up all the vials that I need to according to what my physician orders. And I just wanted to share with you folks my experience the other day. And so I'm walking into this lab, and I've been to this lab many times over many years, and every time I walk in, there's always the same 2 ladies there. They're really good. They're fast. They insert the needle. The blood comes out quick and easy. I feel no pain, and I'm out, right? And so I walk into the lab the other day, and the first thing I noticed is I noticed one of the same ladies sitting behind the desk, and I noticed a new male employee. And so I'm thinking, I hope I get the lady, because she's always quick and fast. She can find my vein every time, and it's easy. I'm in and out, no problems. And by luck of the draw, I get the guy. So I'm like, okay, well, not a problem. Let me go ahead and I give him my information, give him my ID, my insurance card, all that stuff. I go sit down in a waiting room, and then he calls me to get my blood drawn. So I walk to the back. He sets things up. And you can kind of notice when someone's new or they're just kind of learning, because there's really no systematic way of them like putting vials down and getting things put together. And so you can kind of see like he's fumbling. And so at that point I was a little concerned. And then so he sets things up, and he asked me the question. He goes, well, Mr. Yoshida, when you walk in, what vein do they usually hit? And I'm like, well, it's usually this side, right? So it's this vein. He goes, okay, let's go ahead and we'll hit that vein, and we'll get you out here quick and fast. I'm like, okay, cool. So he does his thing. He gets all his vials ready. He puts on his surgical tubing, and he asked me to twist my arm, like this. And already I'm in pain, because I'm old and my joints can't move that much, but he's trying to like make me twist, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not good. So I try my best to do what he wants me to do, and I'm watching this guy do the whole thing. And so he gets out his whatever gauge needle that he needs to poke or to insert and to draw the blood. And I'm watching him, and he's like, Mr. Yoshida, you're gonna feel a little poke. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And he's going at an angle that you can actually see the hole. I got couple holes. So he's actually going in this way. So my vein actually comes up here, and he was actually going in an angle. And so at that point I was like, okay, well, that's kind of awkward, because usually when the lady technicians they draw blood, they kind of follow the vein. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and let him do his thing. So he sticks it in, and he puts the vial on, and then all I hear literally is a hissing sound, like psst. And then the technician goes, this is the exact words, oh shit. And he pulls the needle out, and he puts cotton on, and he says, Mr. Yoshida, put pressure. I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at the vial, and there's absolutely no blood in there. So I asked the technician, I said, well, what just happened? And he tells me, well, I think the vein moved, and so there was some air that came out. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound like a good thing. So I'm putting pressure. He puts the band-aid on, and then now this is what made me really scared. The question that he asked me, oh, Mr. Yoshida, I'm so sorry, but hey, what vein do you want to try next? Right? So at that point I'm horrified, and I'm looking at my arms, and I'm like, what vein do you want to try next? I mean, you're the technician. You tell me what vein you want to try next. So I'm looking at my arm. I'm like, you know what? This one looks pretty green. Why don't you just go ahead and poke this one? And I said, and I told him, I said, I went to the blood bank to donate blood. they used this vein, but it was a really, really slow flow. So he says, okay, let's go ahead and hit that vein. So I'm like, okay. So, you know, everything is set up, the trays and everything is set up for this arm, and then now he's fumbling, he's dropping vials because he's trying to get on this side, right? He forgets to put the pillow under my right arm under this side. And if you guys know what the chairs look like whenever you give blood, there's like a, you know, there's like this tray where you put your arm down. This side, there was nothing. I was basically just hanging my arm off a little, like, you know, like this, just like this, and a little side chair handle, I guess. So I'm like this, and he hits it, sticks in the vial, and there's flow. All right, and there's flow, and he had to fill up like probably about 6 or 7 vials because my doctor orders a lot of different lab tests. So he hits it, the first one fills up, second one fills up, the third one, it fills up, but it's really starting to slow down. Then he sticks the fourth one on, and it's really slow, and he starts actually milking my vein like a cow, like he's trying to squeeze the blood out. He's like, and I'm like, okay, this is like not comfortable at all. But he's pushing, and you know, so he takes that fourth vial out, he sticks the fifth one in, and he's pushing, and there's absolutely nothing in there, but he's still trying to squeeze. And I'm like, you know what? I said, this is exactly what I tell him. I said, you know what? I think that vein is dry. I think we need to take that out and try again. So he's like, okay, Mr. Yoshida, I think you're right. So he pulls it out. I still got 2 vials to fill up. So now he asked me the same question that made me scared earlier. He says, okay, Mr. Yoshida, what vein do you want to try now? And I'm like, oh geez. I said, you know what? Why don't we just hit this vein? Okay, since you already poked it earlier, and this is the one that, you know, the nice lady outside always does. Why don't we just try and see if we can get this one? So he pulls off the cotton, and he starts, I guess, palpating for the vein. He's rubbing. I mean, you can kind of see it a little bit, right? Just a little, but he starts rubbing and you know, no fault to this guy, right? Because I fasted for 12 hours, I didn't drink any water, so my veins are really, they were down. But he's rubbing, and by like the 30th rub of his finger doing this, I had to ask him the question. I said, can you see it? Like, can you see the vein? And he's like, I can't see it, Mr. Yoshida, but I'm trying to feel it. and so at that point I had to say, hey, let's pause. Let's kind of take a step back, and let's try to figure this out together. So that's when he realized, you know what, let me go call Auntie, the lady from outside, and see if she can come in. So I'm like, fine, like, perfect, let's go ahead and call her. So he calls her in, she walks in. She walks up to me. She's like, oh, Mr. Yoshida, wow, look like we did some damage to you. I said, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I got a whole bunch of holes in my arms, but, you know, I still got to fill up a couple of other vials. So she's looking at the vials that he already completed, and she's like, oh, this is not enough, right? So they had to actually fill up 3 more because the 4th one was just not enough blood in there. And I wasn't about to come back and get stabbed again. So she palpates, right? And she finds it. And then she gets the needle, and she sticks it vertically just like this, and you can see the hole right there. I don't know if you can see it. So I got like 1, 2, but she sticks it right there, boom, and perfect. Super fast blood flow. She fills up 3 valves in probably 10 seconds, and we're done, you know. And the guy technician, he was like very apologetic. You know, it's not his fault. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's new, and he's probably learning. And he probably has to get more experience. But you know, I just wanted to share this with you folks because, you know, this was one experience that I didn't have in like many years of going to this lab. And I'm not gonna mention any names, but I'll continue to go there because they provide great service, and literally it's like a couple of minutes from where I live, so that helps because I'm fasting for 12 hours. I don't want to have to drive 30 minutes to a lab, you know, to get my blood work, and then have to drive back home in order for me to eat. So it's really convenient for me that I can fast for 12 hours, I can get to the lab in like a couple of minutes, get my blood work done in a couple of minutes, and be back home in a couple of minutes. So like 10 minutes total, and I can start eating. So that's very convenient. So I will go to them again. It's just, you know, I just wanted to share this experience with you, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably have your own nightmare experiences as well, you know. So bottom line is though, go get your blood work done and work with a primary care physician or work with, you know, your life doctor, and make sure that you guys monitor, you know, the things that you need to make sure that you guys are healthy and that you guys can live a long life. Thanks again, guys, for connecting with the GY Fitness YouTube channel. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you had a similar experience like I did, please comment below, because I'm interested to hear your stories as well. And don't forget to click on the bell so that when we drop new videos, you're automatically notified. See you guys soon.